What's up YouTube, Jamie the Kid 00 here, bringing you guys my first tournament report of the brand new September 2013 format. And I ended up choosing to play wind-ups at my first kind of competitive locals. I've played one locals on a new list, but my first kind of competitive scale locals, I ended up taking wind-ups. I ended up taking second place after top 8, because we're finally back on a top 8 cup because our league is over. I went 4-1 in Swiss, only losing to Dark World and then losing to Infernity in the finals. But I was kind of happy with how this deck performed, but at the same time I realised the glaring weaknesses in the deck. And there are quite a few situations in which it kind of almost loses to itself, and it's very fragile against decks, against certain decks, especially against Infernity. If Infernity are able to set up even the slightest bit, this deck has a lot of trouble kind of getting over them unless it's opened like the best advantage system. Either way, I'm going to get into the list, and then I'm going to tell you what my matchups were because I've actually written them all down on a piece of paper, and we'll talk about that after I've done the list. So we're going to start off with 3 copies of Wind Up Rabbit. This card was something I was always happy to see, but I didn't see it very often. Like, even with the 2 tankies, it felt like I almost never saw the rabbit, and something I always saw right at the start of my games was a rat. I saw rat a lot, and I forgot how horrible it was to draw Rat Magician without any other way of making plays. So that was the thing, but you know, you can play out of it. It's just kind of awkward. There are a lot of situations where I had to just like normal summon rat with no targets engraved and special summon shark, but yeah, it happens. I then played the 3 shark because it's 3 shark and we really should. I couldn't imagine playing this deck under the OCG list with like 1 shark, 3 magician. I'm so happy we had the 3 shark, so that's a thing. Then I played the 1 magician because it's the 1 magician, served a purpose, put in a lot of work, and the other 2 one-offs I kept with the wind up warrior and the 1 wind up soldier. And this card upset me a lot because I drew it all the time, and if I sided one of these out, if I sided the soldier out because I needed more space, I would draw this turn 1 without a shadow of a doubt, and then my invoker would be dead for the whole game. And it happened like about 3 times after I sided out this, which was really saddening. Then for the non-wind-ups, I still played the 2 Snowman. There was no complaints about this card. This card was stunning. The Double Tour Guide, again, an absolutely stunning card. The 1 Grand Mole, the Grand Mole was 50-50. In some situations it was incredible, and in some situations it was outright useless. I would definitely keep it in at this point though, because the games that it won far outweighed the games where it was bad, because in those games I didn't auto-lose because I had it. So it was definitely a very, very good card, and I hardly ever found myself siding it out, really. It's just in some situations it was kind of a bit dead. And then the final monster I played was 1 Bear, which was, it was okay. I didn't use it too much, but it was there for when I needed it. I can't say it like won any games, but it was definitely crucial in some advantage pushes. So that was the monsters. I believe it's 19 or something like that. The spells are pretty standard, I guess. The 1 Dark Hole, the 1 Book of Moon, and the 1 Salvage to make up the main 3. I cut the Mind Control because Mind Control wasn't working for me in long-term testing, so I just cut it down and put in more traps. Long story short. I then played Double Tanky, just because it's Double Tanky. The 3 Wind-Up Factory, because you have to get your advantage off of this. And I was kind of a bit jammy with this card. Like I never really found 1. I always found 2 or none. So I'd always have like 2 of this and a rabbit and just go off, or I wouldn't. So Wind-Up Factory is still an incredibly stunning card. And then finally the last spells I played were just 3 MST. I considered Lance, but I wanted traps. I wanted the traps more, so Lance was omitted in place of the traps. For the traps, there's a fair few, so let's have a look at them. I played 3 of probably the best trap of this format. 3 copies of Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain is just stunningly good at the moment. The ability to just lock down monsters, stop them from attacking, stop them from using their effects. It was very powerful against Infernities and very powerful against a lot of other decks. The only letdown about playing Triple Chain is we're currently in a triple MST format where everyone is playing outs to the 3 MSTs, and a lot of the time kind of good players are holding them because they know this card has gotten big. So they're not going to blind space you that much. This card is only that good against bad players. So like, because a lot of the time they'll blind space. And if you're able to have this and they've blind spaced all the space typhoons away, this card is the nuts. But in situations where they haven't and they've held an MST, it really screws us over. But it performed really well over the course of the event. And then played the double Deprison because it's Deprison and I love it. The double Mirror Force, I had to abandon one of my Ultras because it's just too damaged, it's too old. I need to get Duelist Pack Yu-Gi ones because these Metal Raiders ones are horrible. Then I played the group of one-ofs in the form of one Compulse, one Bombless, one TT, one Warning, and one Pinpoint Guard. This card was amazing. Like, Pinpoint Guard was so good. I wish I had a second, but like at the same time, I'm not sure if I would play the second. Like, one was enough. One was plenty. I feel maybe at 2 it would clog. Then for the extra. The extra was... It changed slightly. Like, I wish there's so much stuff I wish I could fit in here, but there's just no room. I played the one Leviathan Dragon, which was just good. I preferred this to Acid Golem. There was never a point in which I needed Acid Golem, so this was better than Acid Golem. The one Levier, I made this once, just to push for an OTK. I never really used it to like revive my opponent's staff, or I only ever used it to kind of get a rat back from Banished and go for an OTK. That was the only time I used it. Zen Mains, I only made him once when I needed to stall turn 1. No, twice. Because there was another time when I needed to bait out a Mirror Force, where I was attacking with a field and I wanted the attacks to go through, and at least if I attack with this, if he Mirror Forced everything else, this would live. So Zen Mains was a thing. And then I played one Invoker, which was incredibly powerful across the day, which was really good. Really, really good. The only problem was I kept drawing its targets. And I then played one Solar Silver Mountain, which was easily one of the best cards in the extra deck. This card put in so much work of getting back Rabbit, getting back Grand Mole, and just locking down the opponent's back row as well. Like, in a format where back row is starting to increase, having a card that can Zing Zenhu a back row is incredibly powerful. And we are going to move on to the rank 4s. So for the 4s, I played one Utopia because in testing, I found myself in need of just a good muscle 4. And Utopia kind of supplied that muscle. I didn't want Pearl because I wanted to be able to go into Utopia on fields which I was OTKing with. If my OTK got stopped, I didn't want to just be stuck with a Pearl that was going to get killed by Gauze. I wanted something that could at least try and protect my field for a turn. Like, protect my card investment. I then played one Maestroke, which is incredibly strong, as Maestroke usually is. One Direwolf, I made this fairly often. One Papal Imperative, because it's Papal Imperative, and I made it for Magician Shark OTKs. The one Cowboy, which I never actually made. This is like the one card in my extra deck that I never made. This card should have been really powerful, and it should have been really good for killing over monsters and dealing 800 damage per game, but I never made it. And then the final monster I played was one Abyss Dweller, which I put in against both my Dark World opponents because I played against 2 Dark Worlds, which is my worst matchup, which is great fun when they play deck dev. And then for the 5s, I played one Tyrus, which I made once, one Zen Mayo, which I made twice, and each time it popped 2 back row, and I was so happy, and I was able to go in, and it was just an incredibly powerful card, especially in tandem with the side-decked Trap Stun. Like, I should probably main Trap Stun now because of this card, but this card in tandem with Trap Stun is very, very good. It's like the old days of High Unlay Trap Stun, or High Unlay Cold Wave. Yeah. I then played one Volcasaurus. And then, of course, to go with the Volcasaurus, I played one Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. So that is the extra deck. The extra deck is 15, of course. And I wouldn't really change a thing, in my opinion. The side was really weird. It ended up being 14 cards, because I didn't get much sleep last night, and I just grabbed my deck and ran out of the house. Well, and left the house pretty quick, because I didn't... I woke up pretty late. And I realised I only had a 14 card extra deck at the start of round 1. So, I had to play with 14 cards for the whole event. The only thing I would add in now is an extra Veiler, but like it really didn't matter. The side deck was pretty stunning, so we're going to get into the list. There's only one Veiler, because I was playing the 3 Chains, and I didn't really like the Veiler that much. I can play the second, but like the second would be the 15th card, but there's only one Veiler in here, and I didn't regret it at all. I then played the 3 Maxi, which I drew very, very often, and I kind of attributed to 2 of my Infernity wins. Just a very, very good card. 2 cards which I was skeptical about putting in, but when I actually used them today, they were stunning. I played 2 copies of Breaker, the Magical Warrior. This card was great. This card was actually great across the event. The ability to summon this in a format where the only summon responses realistically are Compulse, Warning, Bottomless, Torrential, and Fiendish Chain. all of those cards except Fiendish Chain are at 1. Unless we're talking about like Breakthrough Skill and stuff like that. The majority of responses to this card at summon are at 1. So if this card is summoned and it does bait out a summon response, yeah, you've baited out a summon response that was at 1 and you're not going to see it again. However, if this doesn't bait it out, you're then able to use this effect to kill one of their back row cards, which is more than likely going to be a really disruptive trap like Mirror Force or Deep Prison, or maybe a Fiendish Chain that they attempted to save for something else, if you were to pop into at least 2 back row. It's just a really good card for clearing the way for your plays, and it was very effective across the weekend. The day. It's very effective across the day. Then I played quite a few spells in the form of 3 copies of Messenger of Peace. This card went in against every matchup. This card was easily MVP of the side, along with the next card, which I'm about to show you. But this is gonna, like, after looking at this, I'd almost consider main decking it because it was so damn powerful. I was just able to build up my entire force, my entire reserve, just behind Messenger of Peace in so many situations because they'd been back rowing, they'd been MSTing my things like my Fiendish Chains or all sorts of things like that. So it just left me in a situation where I could just drop this card and I was like, yep, I am safe. Then I played Double Level Limit Area B. This is the other card which was incredible. It was incredibly strong against the Infernity matchup where I was able to just put Level Limit Area B out and they couldn't have attack position Arc Fiends. So that was always fun. It was very powerful against Bujin as well because Bujin Yamato has 200 defense, and the ability to like kill Yamato and things like that with a rat attack or a rabbit attack is incredibly powerful. Yes, Quillen can destroy Level Limit Area, but if you play it clever and you play, say, the play I made today was against Bujin in top 8. I went summon rat. He has a face-up attack position Yamato, and he responds to the summon of the rat with breakthrough skill. And I'm like, okay then, activate Level Limit Area B, change your Yamato to defense mode, and now every other Yamato you summon will at least be in defense mode for 1 turn. And then attack over your Yamato with the rat. And the rat managed to do it. The rat managed to kill a Yamato, which is incredible. So that was always good fun. It was just a very powerful card in a lot of matchups. And against Dark World and things like that, like they have to overcommit to try and make a Heliopolis to try and get around the level limit. So that's the thing. And then I played the 1 Lonely Dimensional Fissure, because you can play 1. If you can play 1, play 1. You know, like just because it's gone to 1 doesn't mean you should completely abandon it. It's still an incredible side choice. And then 2 cards I was experimenting with that also turned out to be incredible were 2 copies of Trap Stun, which was incredible. Either way, I think this is my dinner, as that's the doorbell that's just arrived. I will talk about my pairings and things like that, but they're going to be in the description below, and I'll put comments next to them if I can. I hope you guys have enjoyed. This has been Jamie the Kid 00 with a new tournament report for the new format, and I will see you guys when I do. Peace out. Bye.